ESPN's First Take, Freddie Coleman and Mike Tannenbaum, former general manager, with where he thinks the best place for Baker Mayfield may be.
I know from Baker Mayfield, Courtney, and Mike and Christine, I'm saying, wait a minute, let me get this straight. You need me now because the guy that you want to pay $230+ million in contract money is having all this situation, and he could be suspended a year by the NFL, and now you need me because at $18.8 million you can't move on from my contract. Let me think. Hell no, I'm not even returning the organization. I never gave up on you. That would be my answer on Baker Mayfield. With all that happened last year, I never gave up on you. I went out there and played injured. I played hurt, even when guys didn't want to be with me. And then this is how you do me at the end of the year? And yeah, I get it. In terms of quarterback, Deshaun Watson, in terms of talent, better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. But that's who you decide to align yourself with. After I aligned myself with you and gave it up for you guys, they could call all day long. And there's no way if I'm Baker Mayfield, Mike and Courtney, that I'm returning to the Cleveland Browns. I don't care what they need or who they needed.
But Freddie, I'm looking at it totally differently. If I'm Baker Mayfield, for me, being selfish, the best place for me in 2022 to make the most money for the next 10 years is in Cleveland. So I'm not going back to help you. I'm going back to help me, because $18 million should really be pocket change and the rounding error to what should be a $35 to $40 million contract as a free agent in 2023.
And Mac, both of those are spot on accurate, and I don't think there's any way Baker Mayfield comes back and plays for the Browns under any circumstances.
Yeah, and I tend to agree, and that's why I understand what Freddie was trying to say in that scenario. I kind of disagree in the sense that, again, just from them even speaking to Watson, that was the second that you saw the whole Notes app statement come out from Baker Mayfield at that point. And also, too, at the end of the season, I think that there were some issues, after Baker Mayfield decided to, just sit out. He didn't even have the surgery immediately after the Steelers game. He just sat out the last week of the season. So, I wouldn't say it's perfectly clean cut back and forth. But, again, between what Freddie was trying to say, and then you also had, Tannenbaum, who, again, I agree with the fact that, yes, he can make the most money here. But the question that I have comes down to the fact that, I don't necessarily know how some of the locker room will react to Baker Mayfield if he is back for this season. And that's why, again, I kind of just think that it's best for both parties to go separate ways at this point. I understand Baker might be able to make the most money here in Cleveland for himself down the road. But again, I just think that for him, I think that moving on and really separating from both sides, I think is the best course of action for both. And I just don't see him taking another snap for quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.